Hello, how is everyone? I know we want to give a big round of applause to thank the fire department for providing this great lunch. Thank you guys. And on kind of a dreary day, but every day's a good day for a barbecue in the summer, right? Thank you so much. We're so glad to welcome a recently appointed new safety educator, yes?
Public education coordinator.
Public education coordinator, Mr. Eric McGraw. Welcome. He's got a great presentation for you about all things that seniors need to know about fire safety. So thanks for being here.
How's everybody doing? So first and foremost, I want to thank Kerry and Deb and the Council on Aging for having me out here today. Also want to give a big thanks to the Walpole Food Pantry for providing all this delicious food. Very generous of them. So my name is Eric McGraw, and I developed a PowerPoint presentation today for Senior Safe. Senior Safe is a grant initiative program that the state puts out, and here we go. So Walpole Fire Department Senior Safe, Prevention, Preparedness, and Protection. Presented by firefighter paramedic Eric McGraw, fire and life safety educator. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Walpole. I graduated from the Walpole High School in 2007. I'm employed with the Walpole Fire Department, been here for about 10 years, since 2016. And I live in town with my wife and 2 daughters, who very nice to come here and help Detta today. And I recently took over the position of Public Education Coordinator for the Walpole Fire Department. Very happy about that. Like I said, I grew up in this town. It means a lot to be able to go to the schools and come here and give back. So thank you so much for having me. All right, so what is a fire and life safety educator? So it's a specialized professional, often a firefighter, who is responsible for teaching the community how to prevent emergencies, survive fires, and reduce injuries. They often conduct safety demonstrations for local schools, senior centers, and businesses in their community. And they utilize a community risk assessment to identify specific community hazards and target education accordingly. They also teach audiences how to create and practice home fire escape plans, and often lead public safety initiatives, assisting the community with smoke alarm installation and fire prevention week events. So what is Senior Safe? Senior Safe is a grant program that's funded by the state. It was created in 2014. It's actually funded by the cigarette tax. So all the tax on the cigarettes that people buy is what funds this program, which I think is pretty good. And it's run by local fire departments. So what it does is it provides us with funding at the fire department and myself funding to be able to do things like this. So I think it's a great program. And the goal of the program, it aims to reduce the high rate of injuries and deaths among senior citizens by offering home safety visits, assistance in installing smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, as well as providing education, which I'm doing today through this PowerPoint. So some of the learning objectives for today. After this presentation, participants hopefully will be able to understand why older adults are at an increased fire risk, identify community fire hazards, develop home fire prevention strategies, create emergency evacuation plans, understand smoke alarms and fire extinguishers, and support older adults with mobility or cognitive limitations. So fire safety for seniors. This is a statistic that is completely true. People age 65 plus are more likely to pass away in a fire than any other age group, including infants. Many of these deaths, good news is many of these deaths can be prevented by practicing fire safety at your home. So why are older adults at a greater risk? Some of the factors include reduced mobility. As we get older, we know we don't move around like we used to. Hearing loss. As we get older, our ears don't work as well as they used to. Vision impairment. I'm 37, my eyes don't work like they did when I was 10. Slower reaction time. Chronic illness. As we get older, a lot of people taking medications, they have health history. Memory impairment. Some people, as they get older, struggle with their memory. Some people have Alzheimer's, dementia. And medication side effects. Some medications people take can make them more lethargic or drowsy, which can be dangerous as well. So what are some common causes of home fires? Number one, cooking. Number 2, smoking materials. I'm gonna move out of the way. Number 3, electrical problems. Number 4, heat and equipment. Number 5, candles, which luckily have been replaced recently by these new wax melts that smell good too. Number 6, portable space heaters. And number 7, unattended appliances. So what's one thing we know? That work and smoke detectors save lives. Every year in Massachusetts, residents die because fires have no work and smoke detectors. A fire in a home can turn deadly in just 3 quick minutes. So work and smoke detectors are your first line of defense. Just because the alarms go off, however, doesn't mean that you're going to be able to escape the house. So they can give you an early warning of fire, but they can't guarantee your escape. So it's very important to create home escape plans that include 2 ways out of every room, if possible, and practice it routinely. Important things to make sure when it pertains to smoke detectors. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, including basements and outside every sleeping area. If your smoke alarms use alkaline batteries, replace the batteries twice a year or when you change your clocks. I don't know, they might get rid of daylight savings, so we might have to come up with a new plan maybe January 1st, June 1st, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. Another thing, check the manufacturing date printed on the back of your smoke alarms. Replace the alarms that are more than 10 years old. I think somebody approached me today and said they had smoke detectors that were 30 years old. So we're going to try to work on that. Replacement alarms should be photoelectric with sealed long life batteries and a hush feature. Another thing, along with smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors. So carbon monoxide, or CO for short, is a highly poisonous, colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas. It's a byproduct of combustion, and it's created when fuels like gas, wood, or coal, or oil do not burn completely. One thing we always like to say is always install them near sleeping areas and test routinely. For instance, in my home, I have natural gas, so I have a natural gas stove. I have one by the stove. I also have one by my gas furnace in the basement. So if those appliances aren't working correctly and they're leaking gas, hopefully we're going to get the CO alarm that's going to trip those. Smoking. I feel like this day and age, smoking isn't what it used to be. Not as many people smoke as they used to, but there are many dangers of smoking. Smoking fires are the #1 cause of fire deaths among older adults. In addition to being harmful for your health, smoking greatly increases the risk of fire, causing injury or death. There's no safe way to smoke, but if you must do it, always smoke outdoors, always use a large, sturdy ashtray, and be sure that matches and smoking materials are fully extinguished. Never smoke in your bed or in a chair or recliner, and never smoke near oxygen tanks or cylinders, especially if you have a nasal cannula in your nose. So dangers of cooking fires. Cooking fires are actually the #1 cause of injuries at home. I can't tell you how many calls we get for burnt food. Can't tell you how many times on Thanksgiving people try to put a 25-pound turkey in an aluminum pan, and when they try to pick it up and it folds and all the grease goes everywhere, how many things like that happen? It's an honest mistake, but things like that do happen. Always keep the area around your stove clear of groceries, food, packaging, and other items that can burn. Sometimes we notice, especially with electric ranges, people put paper products on top. They use it almost as a place for storage. Never do that. Always try to wear short sleeves when you cook or tight-fitting clothing. And always stand by your pan whenever boiling, broiling, or frying food. In the event of a fire on the stovetop, smother the fire with a lid or cookie sheet. Don't ever try to move a burning pan or douse it with water. This could spread the fire and make the situation much worse. Some products that are great for kitchen safety, fire blankets. You can see it pictured on the bottom right. That's a blanket that will pop out of that container and you can smother the whole stove or the fire. And then another one everyone knows, fire extinguishers, home fire extinguishers. You can get them at your local hardware store, Ace, Home Depot, anything like that. So fire extinguishers, we like to remember the acronym PASS. The P stands for pull the plug. The A stands for aim the fire extinguisher. The first S stands for squeeze, squeeze the trigger. And then the last S is sweep. So you want to squeeze the trigger and put out the fire. Remember this though, only fight small fires. If you're unsure that you can put the fire out with the extinguisher, leave immediately and call 911 so we can come there and help you guys out. Oh. Escape planning. I'm sure you guys have thought about this in your life, especially maybe when you guys still had little children at home. But everyone should know 2 exits from every room. A lot of building codes ensure this, where you at least have a window and a door in every room. Sometimes in basements you can't have that. You might have a bulkhead and a tiny window. Always have a meet-in place outside. You know, we teach little kids this when we go to schools, but sometimes we say the mailbox or the neighbor's driveway. Somewhere where you can meet outside and get an inventory of everyone there, account for everyone. And if, God forbid, somebody's still inside, when we show up, you can tell us that and we'll go in and get them. And always remember, everyone knows this, but the emergency phone number is always 911. Review and practice this stuff regularly. Evacuation challenges. So as everyone gets older, mobility becomes an issue. Some people are in wheelchairs. Some people use walkers. Some people have oxygen equipment and they're attached to almost like a leash, the oxygen tubing. Some people might have some health history that can affect this. They'd have arthritis. They might have deficits from a stroke or a CVA. They could have Parkinson's disease. So always plan for assistance. If you guys need help, please ask. That's what we're here for. We do not mind coming out, helping with public assistance. Again, that's what we're here for. Don't ever apologize when you have to call us. Fire safety for individuals with dementia. So as we talked about before, some people as they age, they deal with cognitive issues, dementia, Alzheimer's. Sometimes being sick with a UTI or an infection can cause you to be confused. And then your memory making isn't on par. So special considerations with people with dementia, they could wander places. They might wander down the road, not know where they are. They could turn on the stove and start cooking something and forget they were cooking altogether. They might have poor judgment. And also confusion during emergencies. If a stressful situation happens, they're going to kind of get anxiety and not be able to think straight. So some of the safety tools, you could have automatic shut-off devices on your stove. You could have stove alarms. If you're cooking, for example, and you're going to leave the stove, set a timer. At least that timer is going to go off and remind you that you might have been cooking. And then caregiver supervision. If you guys have loved ones that can help you out, visit a nurses association, stuff like that's always good help. Home heating safety. Luckily, this day and age, I know utility bills are crazy, and it's tough paying the bills sometimes. But most people don't have to utilize space heaters. But if you are going to use a space heater, space heaters and all appliances should have clearance of 3 feet around them. So space heaters, fireplaces, and radiators. Never dry clothes on them. Never put too close to furniture or anything like that. Never leave heaters unattended. And never use extension cords with heaters. Plug the space heaters right into the wall unit. Electrical safety. Always watch for frayed cords, overloaded outlets, flickering lights, warm outlets, and damaged plugs. If any of this ever occurs, replace this equipment immediately. Extension cord safety. Always use extension cords temporarily. They should never be a permanent fixture in your home. Always avoid running them under area rugs, daisy chaining power cords together. So you don't want 2 extension cords connected together to run an appliance or something plugged in. And never overload circuits. Use surge protectors when appropriate. Elderly fall prevention. So going back to the mobility issue, when I did the class for the Fire Academy, I actually did my PowerPoint presentation on this. I found it quite interesting. Falls are the leading cause or injury-related hospitalizations for Massachusetts seniors age 65 plus. 1 in 4 adults older than 65 report fallen in the last year. Falls should never be considered normal part of the aging process because most falls are preventable. So what can we do to prevent falls in the elderly population? To establish a fall protection plan, you should focus on both physical modifications and your personal health. Taking proactive steps can greatly reduce your risk of accidents in your home. Some home safety modifications that you can make installation of grab bars near toilets and showers, and handrails on both sides of the staircase. Remove trip-in hazards like loose area rugs, secure loose cords, and clear pathways of excess furniture. Light up your living space. I know some people like to say, turn the lights off, turn the lights off. But realistically, if you can see where you're going, it's going to really help you with getting there. So nice bright lights, place night lights in your bedroom, bathrooms and hallways. Make an appointment with your healthcare team or your PCP when you meet with them annually to review any medications that might increase your risk of falling. They may consider weaning you off medications that make you tired or affect your thinking. Some of these medications include sedatives, antihistamines like Benadryl, and some types of antidepressants. And lastly, keep moving. The better physical activity and shape you're in will go a long way towards fall prevention. Consider activities such as strength training, walking, or water workouts. These activities can reduce the risks of falls by improving your strength, balance, and coordination, and flexibility. Lastly, wear sensible shoes and footwear. Consider changing your footwear as part of your fall prevention plan. Wear properly fit-in shoes that are sturdy, flat, with non-skid soles. Wear non-slip socks, especially on hardwood floors and tile floors, because this will prevent slipping. A lot of times we get calls too where people, they're getting up out of their recliner and they didn't necessarily fall, they just kind of slid out of their chair. It's a common thing. So somebody was asking about this earlier, life alert devices. These are great for the elderly population. In the event that you fall or have any other medical emergency and you can't make it to a phone to call us, Life Alert has different kind of pendants. Some look like watches, some look like a necklace hanging around your neck. In the event that a fall does occur, Life Alert devices are a great way to call for help. They allow you to immediately connect with a trained 24/7 dispatcher and get the emergency services to your house. Fire Department Knox Box. Somebody else asked me about this earlier. So a Knox Box is a secure wall-mounted metal key safe that allows fire departments and emergency responders to enter a locked building or gate without causing forced entry or damage. So the box will sit on the outside of your house like you see in that picture. We have a master key. The shift captain can get there, open the box. One of your house keys, spare house keys will be in there. We can key into your house. In order to get an official fire department Knox box in Massachusetts, you must select your specific local fire department, purchase the approved model online, and have the department lock your keys inside after installation for you. So with the water bottle we gave you guys today, there's a file of life that each of you have in front of you. Some of you guys might already have one of these, you might be familiar with them. But even if you keep one in your purse or your wallet, you just might have an extra one. You could put it on your refrigerator or something like that. They have a magnet on them. What it has is your personal information. It's going to hold your medical history, your name and age, your emergency contacts, your doctor details, medical conditions you might have, allergies, and a DNR or healthcare proxy or MOLST form if you have that. Family and caregiver responsibilities. Caregivers should check smoke and CO alarms if you can't, the elderly person can't. They should review home escape plans. They should inspect electrical hazards in the home. They should remove clutter. Any clutter on the floor can lead to a fall. And they should assist and review medications and even help you take the medications if need be. So what to do during a fire? If a fire does occur, we want you to get out immediately. We want you to stay low under the smoke. We want you to close doors behind you. We want you to never use elevators. This doesn't really apply in homes, but if you're in a commercial building and it's on fire, never use the elevators, always use the stairs. Call 911 when you get outside. Make sure you're safe first. And lastly, never re-enter the home. This is a fire safety checklist. If you have all your ducks in a row with this, you should be pretty good shape. Your smoke alarms are working. You have an escape plan practiced. Your electrical cords are inspected. Your heating equipment is safe. Your fire extinguisher is always available. And your emergency contacts are updated. So I want to thank you so much for having me out today. Hopefully that talk was informative. Key takeaways from this: Prevention's always the best protection. If you're prepared, it's always going to help you if something occurs. Work and smoke alarms save lives. Having practice and escape plan is also very important. Address your mobility. Every day you take care of yourself, the more mobility and health you're going to have. And then family and caregivers play an essential role in helping you elderly people. We're always here to help. That's what we're here for. Don't hesitate to reach out, all right? So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any questions, I'll take them. Thank you.